Now to the high country, where thousands of people in the Flagstaff area have their power back on tonight after APS shut it off for nearly 10 hours. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. This is the first time that APS has used this protocol in an effort to prevent a wildfire during extreme weather. With the high winds, they didn't want to risk a power line coming down. And if wildfire risks return, it likely won't be the last.
12 News journalist Maria Stobbs is in Flagstaff tonight with more.
APS has had this tool in its wildfire mitigation toolbox since 2024, but this marks the first time they've used it in the Flagstaff area, shutting down power for more than 5,000 customers for hours, all to stop a wildfire before it even starts.
We want to be very surgical and data-driven when we utilize this. The weather that we are seeing today is very rare and extreme.
APS spokesperson Jessica Del Rincon says their meteorologists usually see high winds this time of year.
And that's typical for the spring.
But on Wednesday, those winds hit 60 miles per hour, combined with extremely dry conditions usually seen in June.
That is increasing wildfire risk.
At 9 a.m., APS shut off power lines.
That's one way of being able to mitigate potential wildfires.
Preventing lines from sparking if damaged by wind. And once conditions improved, crews spread out across the region to check for just that.
We had line workers and bucket trucks available to do inspections from Flagstaff all the way to the Grand Canyon.
They even used helicopters and drones to reach areas too steep or dangerous for crews to hike.
The drone flew 31 poles in this area, particularly the poles that went up the face of the mountain. It was a 2,500 foot climb that the drone had to make. Even in the still sort of windy conditions we're dealing with, the drone was able to do that in about 25 minutes.
Looking for anything that could start a fire, from broken equipment to debris blown into the lines.
We could see things like even backyard items like trampolines and canopies land in our power lines.
After hours of patrols, crews began restoring power as soon as lines were cleared.
But it was extremely successful. We're getting the power back on. The grid has been able to withstand these very complex and severe weather conditions, and it's been pretty smooth.
APS says this kind of shutoff is a last resort, but they could use it again if extreme wildfire conditions return. In Flagstaff, Maria Stobbs, 12 News.
Maria, thanks. Now,